message that came through as I was shuffling and as I was tapping into the collective is that right now, your manifesting skills, your manifesting power is at its all-time high. However, what I felt when I tapped into your energy was almost like a pause, or there's some resistance here. You know, like when you're a really good singer and you're part of like the school play or something, and you have to go out and you have to sing in front of loads of people, and beforehand, before seeing anybody that's sitting down, you're like, yeah, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And then you look through the curtains and you see how many people are there, and you see everyone's waiting for you to come out, and then there's a spotlight waiting for you, and you kind of, especially if it's the first time you sing in, you kind of falter a little bit. That's the energy that I'm getting here, that someone has such, it's not even potential to manifest, they are such a strong manifester that the things that you speak on, they come to be. They literally come to be. And I don't know if you're seeing them, because this is the first card that fell out, but I didn't get that there's anyone around you that is being phony or a trickster or illusion. I feel like someone has told themselves that they are phony, that it's all illusions, that no, you know, the things that I need never show up for me. And I honestly feel like the things that you needed, the experiences that you may be linking that to, are times when you were in lack mindset. And I say that without any judgment, because look, when we need food, we need food. When we need money to pay our bills, we need money to pay our bills, you know, and we want that extra bit of cash so that our kids can go to the after school club. And when you don't have those things, you won't be manifesting then. Then it's almost like telling the universe, I don't have, and I really, really want it. And that's the difference. Because here with love child in reverse, what I took from this is that there is something connected to childhood that may have instilled in you or someone around you that you have to work really flipping hard to be able to access or gain anything. That, you know, either money is a limited resource, or, you know, abundance or opportunities only happen to those who are from the higher ups, you know, if you are middle class or upper class. The love child here, there is definitely a calling to your inner child, to have a look at your inner child, or just to connect with your inner child, especially the parts that make you feel triggered, in whatever emotion that wants to come up. We also have running here, which is more or less just stating this isn't going anywhere. We can't hide from our shadow, because our shadow is part of us. This is something that you're being asked to look at, simply because the times that you have manifested the things that you have spoke on, they came to be. And it may have been something really small, like I want to get a free coffee tomorrow morning, or I'd love for the bus driver to just allow me onto the bus because I've run out of money for my bus pass. And those things happen. But because we are kind of wired into remembering the bad things more, and I can't remember what that study was about, you can have something happen to you 9 times and it's positive, and it's on the 10th time that same thing happens, but it happens in a negative light. That's the thing that we share. That's the thing that we will go and tell 9 times more people about, rather than all the happy things. And I think it's just because we're wired to survive, right? I think that there have been like these small miracles, these small manifestations of positive that have been around you or someone in the collective, and either you've noticed them and gone, oh, that's great, and then just got on with life, and you haven't remembered them, or you haven't seen them. And there's a need here, especially as I thought they were children. Do you know what? I thought they were children running through, but they're not, they're adults. It does give a need to look at something here with your inner child, because right now, what you speak on, you are bringing into reality. But that's not just the positive. That includes what you're moaning about, what you think that you don't have enough of, who you're angry at. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to be like a false light, pretending that you're happy all the time. That's fake spirituality. You know, all emotions are valid, even the volatile ones. But there is a need to be aware of what it is that you're focusing your energy on. We also have here living in the moment, and it's in reverse. Okay, So there's definitely something from the past that is affecting the way in which you manifest the present. Interesting. My name is Bronwen. This is Bronwen's Cove Tarot 111. If you are new to my channel, welcome in. It's good to have you here. If you are a returning subscriber, soul family, it's always good to have you back. I will be ringing a bell. I don't know, I may use this one today. Oh no, I went to use that one and I felt a lot of heat from that candle, so they don't want me to use that one. Use this one. I'm going to ring this just to cleanse the space around us, but if you have any type of sound sensitivity, it's a good idea to turn down your listening device in 3, 2, and in 1. Okay. Oh, I silenced that at the end and I did not mean to. Interesting. Something that you don't talk about. Something with manifesting and abundance, your connection to abundance, because I feel like someone here has like a really either like a really strong money line. I must say I had my palm read like a couple weeks back, and it was so interesting. I got read to filth. I got read to absolute filth. It was so good. And one of the things that I was told was that I have a really strong money line, but I spend my money too quickly. This is what happens when you have ADHD and you just see shiny things everywhere. It's like dopamine, 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 dopamine. And I feel like someone here has, you have actually got, it's not the potential to have a strong money line. You do. It seems that the reason why in the past you may not have seen these things is because you had leeches and parasites and people, places and things that were just taking your energy, taking your luck, taking your Midas touch. Or if you were getting things in and you were sharing them out with all these people, there's a lot of ungrateful people that were just waiting to have more. So you weren't seeing that manifesting power working in a positive light, because it was almost like it was never enough. Things were always running out. What am I getting? Things were always running out. Like the more that you gave, the less there was. Now you don't have those people in your life. Now you don't have those things or those emotions or those wounds holding you back. The only thing you're being asked to look at is your inner child. This could be, yeah, the solar plexus. It looks very much like the solar plexus. There's something here with imposter syndrome. Feeling like you are an imposter, like you don't deserve something here. This person, do you know what? I didn't even notice. I've had this deck for a really long time. I didn't even notice that there was a person down there because there's so much happening over here. But she is wearing, he or they are wearing all black. So black is very much about protection. But that's also, it can also be a representative of actually the shadow. And when I look at her face, you can't really see it. It looks like she's got both of her hands over her face. How interesting. Because that's really giving the energy of someone's inner child here. A part of you that may be trying to hide, that feels ashamed or guilty. Because why do I get that, like, someone was made to feel guilty for wanting more? I was having this conversation with my other half. And where he works, he started a thing called the Giving Tree, where, you know, at the run up to Christmas, people who are less fortunate, who just don't have the money to create the Christmas that they would like to. Sometimes it's basic essentials. Other times they'd actually like to get presents for their children. They can put in requests and just state what it is that they need. And then other people on the team or other people that work at the same place will then be like, okay, I'll get that one. I'll take that. I'll spend that money and I'll get that stuff for the children or for the adults, or I'll get all that stuff over there. And what was I going to say? Because do you know what? Sometimes I go off on a rant and I cannot remember. There's something here about, yeah, we were talking about how sometimes we can have really weird perceptions of what we think people that don't have that much should ask for. Like they should only be asking for the essentials. Like if you're poor or if you're on the bread line, why should you want to have luxury things? And it's like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't you want to have something that's nice, that's more than just the bare essentials? And I think that there's something here for someone, this is going to resonate for someone here with kind of looking into that. I don't know if like your parents or caregivers, as when you were growing up, if money was sparse or things had to be shared. Like I am a hand-me-down queen. I'm a middle child, so I always got my older siblings clothes, and there were some things that I did not want to let go of and give to my younger sister, but there's something here that I can't grab it completely just yet. Any more from this deck? The top one, let me see. Okay. Tell me about this Folly Trickster Illusions and Fairy Tale. Turning your back. Ashamed. I could feel this. There was guilt, embarrassment, and in the wrong. So turning your back here. Someone here may have turned their back on their inner child. They may have this. There's definitely this, I have to grow up now. I have bills to pay. I have a family. I have animals. I have a job. I have these responsibilities, which mean I have to, and it's ... because it feels like it's falling back onto a code, or like a coded seed of some sort that's been placed by your parents or by your caregivers when it comes to relationship with money, worthiness, abundance. There's a shamed coming out here as well, because I could feel it, but it feels like it isn't coming from a present you, and I don't know if I'm explaining that properly. It feels like it is coming from a really young version of you. Like, for example, I remember the first time that I heard the word expensive, and I don't remember how old I was. I know I was very, very young. And my mum, I'm from the, my mum's from the north of Spain. She's Catalan, she's Catalonian. And she had taken us to go and visit her best friend. And her best friend was like auntie to us. And her best friend is very opposite to her in that she is very gregarious, very loud, very bright, very kind of extrovert. And she took us and my mum to the version of Toys R Us in the north of Spain. And she was like, you can get whatever you want, in other words. And I remember my younger sister picked Polly Pocket, showing my age, right? I don't remember what my older sister got, but I wanted a Barbie, and I wanted the biracial Barbie that was wearing the blue dress, and she was like in Cindy's friend circle. And I remember thinking, I want her. I really, really want her. I loved her hair and everything. And my mum was just not having it. And she was saying, no, you can't get that one. And she ended up having an argument with my aunt in Catalan. And she came over and she was like, it's too expensive. You cannot have that. And I didn't know what expensive meant, but I did feel a sense of rejection. Like, how is it that my sisters have picked the things that they want and that's been okay? And Auntie M is going to get those things. But when I pick something, I'm told a word that I don't understand, but I know that it's made me feel guilty for making that choice. Now, I got her. She was given to me, and I got home and I cut all her hair off and changed her clothes and painted her nails and made her look like a monstrosity. However, that stays with you. That energy stays with you. And this is what I'm getting, is that this isn't about present time as much as the connection to whatever this is for you when it comes to finances, when it comes to abundance and accepting it. Is linking from childhood. It may be something now that, I don't know, do you find it difficult to take, it's not compliments, but it's like if you're out for a meal with other people, do you want to be the first one to pay, or are you the one that wants to split the bill? Because there's nothing wrong with either. There's absolutely nothing wrong with either, but there's something with either counting the pennies or being over, kind of like, I'll pay for everything, but you can't afford to. Okay, tell me about running in reverse, please. Okay, we've got Jackass coming out. Excuse my language, but that's what it says. Doesn't that dude look a little bit like Heath Ledger, for those of you who know who that is? We've got Divine Feminine coming out as well. And what I think is really interesting is that this is the card that flipped round. This is the card that I opened the deck to, which is showing almost like someone's view on what they're allowed to kind of connect to, what they're allowed to accept, what they're worthy of. This may be what you are viewing as, or your inner child is viewing as being the acceptable, or I was never allowed to have so and so. But this is what the universe is telling you, because the divine feminine, it talks about receiving. It's your receiving side, it's creativity, it's abundance, it's intuition, it's receiving both downloads, abundance, love, friendship, you know. So that's very interesting. And I was shown also a mirror, and I was shown the mirror in the deck. I kept getting mirror coming out. Someone here may need to do some mirror work, looking in the mirror and telling themselves something truthful and something kind. Like it could be I am beautiful, or I have beautiful eyes, or I have this something here about needing to be gentler. And I don't know, do you know what? I know that you can buy those mirrors that show you what you actually look like. Because when we look in the mirror, we're seeing almost like a reflection. We're not actually seeing ourselves properly. Does that make sense? And there have been, like, for example, like I put my photograph up on my video yesterday, and I don't really take my photographs that much. Like I've put weight on and stuff like that, so I don't really like taking photographs. However, I put it up and I was like, oh my gosh, I put no makeup on, I look horrible, whatever. And I put it out, and then someone commented on that, oh my gosh, is that your face photo, because you are so beautiful. And I was like, what? And it just goes to show that how we view ourselves, the kind of image that we have of ourselves, is not going to be the same as what other people perceive. And I think that the universe is trying to tell you that as well. There's some sort of distortment here, and I don't say that in a way of like criticizing you or going you're not healed or anything like that, but there is a distorted view on worthiness that when it comes to receiving and sitting very balanced in your divine feminine, that is definitely connected to your inner child or childhood memories. You are such a strong manifester, but this seems to be, it's not so much that it's blocking you, it's almost like it's an invisible weight. It's an invisible weight that is slowing you down, that you don't realize is there. That we get so used to saying things are expensive, or I can't afford it, or, you know, I haven't got the money for that. We don't realize that words are spells, and as we say these words, we're telling the universe, no, I don't want you to bring anything in for me, because I still haven't healed that little bit within me that thinks that I'm worthy. So let's have a look at living in the moment. Tell me about in the moment in reverse, please. I need to know about this. Please and thank you. Wish. Stop. Okay, so there is something that's almost like hovering over your head, that is waiting to kind of be downloaded like energy into your aura. Think of like distance healing, the way that it's sent to you almost like an orb, and then you accept it into your energy, and then it does its thing. It feels like someone is rejecting. They're rejecting some sort of opportunity, abundance, the fact that you are such a strong manifestor, but it's being rejected because of something specific that happened in the past, or something that gets triggered emotionally whenever you are confronted with manifestation or being given money, or there's something there that you're being asked to look at, because you're not blocking your wish, you're delaying it. You are really, really delaying it. And I don't say that in a way to kind of like put you down or to criticize you, and I have to keep saying that because I feel like this could be a touchy subject for someone. This could be quite a touchy subject. And I don't know if it's because the memory or the experiences of childhood when it came to worthiness and abundance and things like that, I don't know how raw that is for you. I don't know, you know, your inner child definitely wants you to take its hand, and it does feel like it is the wounded inner child. Because there's something here about lifting this guilt, embarrassment, and feeling like you're in the wrong. Because it's delaying your wish, it's delaying this blessing coming in. It doesn't mean that the blessing won't come in, it's just going to take longer. We need to look at that. And I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not somebody that can give you the advice on how you do that. But there's definitely a need to address this in your own time. No, we have got here pressure, under pressure, anxiety, decisions, and time is running out with massive regrets coming through. So maybe this is where you start. And I heard Dear Diary, maybe someone should be journaling, writing about how they feel. The thing is as well is that I used to write a lot and then I stopped doing it. And when I started again, I didn't know how to begin. And I was like, well, what do I write? Write anything. Write anything. It doesn't even have to be about how you feel about, especially if you're trying to pull up things from the past. Just write about your day. Write about what you saw. Like, someone needs to hear that. It's not so much about getting down to the nitty gritty of it straight away. It can just be, I need to start writing, or I need to start voice recording. I need to start speaking out loud. I need to get that energy moving, because the more you do that, the more you're going to be in flow, the more you're going to open up that throat chakra and allowing yourself to express what you need to express. And when it comes up, when those memories come back to you, you'll know and you'll be able to write them out. Why does I keep getting shocking news coming through? Some sort of shocking news here. Okay, let's have a look at what's the vibe. What is the vibe, Spirit? What is this vibe? It says bad choices, mixed signals, bad and games, but I feel like someone here has been gaslit into feeling like that, or someone's been guilty. Someone's been made to feel guilty for their needs or for their wants when they were younger, because we've got running coming out here, escape, denial and excuses, and we also have running here. There's a need to address what it is that you're running away from. Tell me about turning your back when it comes to illusions. Thank you. We have striptease, gamble and Vegas. I've been told to put that one back, so I will. And we also have a distorted masculine energy coming through here. Now, distorted masculine energy, when we're not talking about a person, but we're talking about ourselves, we're looking at the way in which we armor ourselves against perceived threats, against perceived lack of safety. So an example of that is a child who is living in a house that is very volatile, because there's nothing they can do to escape that feeling of lack of safety. They go in within themselves. They stop, you know, dancing and singing and playing as loud as they did before. They start going in on themselves. They don't want to interact with other people. There may be something that they have that they like doing that they feel is the reason why there's arguments happening, and if they do that, it's going to get worse. So they kind of shut themselves down, and we become very kind of hardened as we get older. And it's also like the lack of motion, the lack of movement, the like depression coming in. Okay, like, why was I shown that? Why was I shown that? Yeah, there's something, you're being asked to like spark your imagination in something here, or your inner child is asking for attention, but it's not just the wounded inner child that's asking for attention. You got to remember that the wounded inner child and the joyous inner child are both the same thing. Both the same thing. They're not separate entities. So while your wounded child is saying, hey, what about me? So is your joyous inner child just going, hi, do you want to play? There's a need here to connect into your inner child in a way that you see as fun, because it's going to bring up, you may actually bring this up naturally without having to push too hard. Tell me about the illusions though, with turning your back on illusions. Oh, let me see. We have hopeful coming out. I love this. I absolutely love this for you. Inspired, optimistic and success. Yeah, hopeful, because you're being asked to turn your back on a version that you have in your head of what you think that you deserve, of what you think that you are worthy of, and whether or not you're allowed to have things without limitation. So we have hopeful here. We also have today, which I think is absolutely amazing, because we have over here living in the past. There's a need, like today, good vibes now and in the moment. to address how you're feeling without the accusatory vibes to it. Being able to go, do you know what? This guilt, where did this guilt come from? Where did this embarrassment come from? Why do I feel awkward when someone wants to give me money, or someone wants to, you know, do this and this? And I also feel for someone, when it comes to manifestation, there may be some religious trauma. That's not for everyone, but for some people there may be religious trauma of being told that that's wrong, or being told that that's like witchcraft, or it's negative in some way. Be gentle with yourself, but there's a need to be present and to celebrate. There's something here about celebrating the wins that your inner child, both wounded and joyous, were able to achieve, not just the things that you want. Sometimes we can get really bogged down with just looking at the wounded inner child, that we do forget that our inner child brought so much joy, even in times that were really difficult. You look at kids until a certain age, they're very black and white in how they think, you know, and they're very resilient. They're very, very resilient. And I think someone does not give themselves enough credit in how resilient you were and how resilient you are. Now, we do have narcissistic coming out here with egotistical, opportunist, and fragile. So there is a specific person from childhood that is being brought up here. There is a specific person. That distorted energy of the masculine coming through, this could be a father figure, it doesn't have to be. It does feel like an absentee though. Somebody who may have, did they call you names? Were they dismissive of your achievements? There's something here. There's a specific person that your inner child would like you to look at or remember. This person had a lot of narcissistic qualities. I can't say they were a narcissist because I'm not a doctor and I can't diagnose anyone, but they were very narcissistic. I'm sorry that you had to experience that. Can I get one more, please, for wish in reverse with living in the moment? Thank you. Stop! I asked for one with wish, and what do I get? Wishful thinking. Oh my gosh. And it says here, second chance, deja vu, and nostalgia. Okay. Do you know what this brought to me straight away is I watched a documentary a while back, or like a podcast, I can't remember which one it was, but the person was saying that you can go back in, like, time travel is real in that you can go back into your past memories of childhood and you can change what happened. In that, you know when people say go back and like be your champion for yourself, be a champion for your 10-year-old self when that thing happened, stick up for that 10-year-old child, protect that 10-year-old child in your mind's eye. And I cannot remember where I watched it or who it was, but they said that every time we go back into a memory, it's not just that we are regenerating that, it's another timeline. We're creating another timeline. And if we believe that there are many different timelines, many different dimensions, you going back, you actually can change that. Does that make sense? Some people that's going to resonate with and some people it's not. But this second chance being here, there's a real need to go back, rewind, be kind, rewind. To go back and let's not address it because it sounds so very formal, but to go back and witness it and experience it in a way of empowerment. Okay. I think I want to get out before I go. I would like to get some tarot cards out. When it comes to, there's a tower coming through. There was the 5 of Wands coming through. Lots of changes. I think the reason why Spirit, and this is not just Spirit, this is your inner child. This is your inner child reaching out. I feel the reason why your inner child is being so loud about this is because some sort of massive change, 555, is coming through. And it's coming through soon. And it may come through in like your business and career. And there are things that are going to come towards you that are life-changing, but you have to be in the right mindset to receive them. Otherwise, you may feel like you're unworthy. You may feel like you're an imposter. You may go in and be like, everyone else is more qualified than I am. They're more talented than I am. And it's like, this is why you're being asked to look at this, because when this thing comes in, spirit, your inner child, your team of highest light and resonance, they want you to be at a point where you know you're worth 1000%. They know, you know why this wish that you had when you were a child maybe is coming true now, and why this is your blessing. So we have the Tower here. Yeah, look, 9 of Pentacles. You've got something amazing coming towards you. And the things that you are thinking of and speaking of, you are manifesting really quickly, really quickly. And this is why it's so important to be looking at this over here. And looking at why, when somebody says the name of someone, it could be this person that's a narcissistic person. It could be that certain music, you know, triggers emotions in you because it reminds you of a person. I mean, I won't go into it too much, but I had a very dysfunctional upbringing, very, very, very abusive, very dysfunctional. And there was a song by the Fugees, Killing Me Softly. And I had such an adverse reaction to hearing that song 5-10 years ago. Like, it would come on and I had a panic attack, because that song reminded me of a specific person in my family. And it took me a very long time to heal from that, go to therapy, all the rest of it, to be able to listen to that song without feeling like my world was falling apart. Someone here has something similar going on. It doesn't mean that you have the same like upbringing as me. It's just, there's something here that is going to trigger this. And rather than running from it, you're being asked to gently and bravely face it. Okay, let's see. Inspired, optimistic and success. Let's see about this. Oh, that's so many. Okay. I'm going to take this one here. 10 of Cups is coming through. And the Empress, this is definitely about addressing and bringing to light things that feel imbalanced within the sacral chakra, within your family. Because the Empress being in reverse, we are looking at the lack of empowerment. We're looking at when we feel small, when we feel like we have no control over our own life or what we're doing, especially when it comes to the family. So let's pop these down here and this one down here. Okay. I've got the song by Cher in my head. Do you believe in life after love? I believe really don't think you're strong enough now. Okay, we have the Tower coming out. I don't know who that song is for. I mean, that brings up memories for me the minute that I start singing it. We have the Tower, so we have a massive change. Something big happened or will happen with this narcissistic energy. Tell me about wishful thinking, please, with this wish in reverse, thinking of the past. Okay, so we have independence, we have freedom coming through, because the 9 of Pentacles is really about being able to build what you want from, and being able to build it yourself, building it up from the ground up by yourself, and not in that hyper independent, I don't need anyone, no, I'm not going to take any help, but more in the, I've worked really hard for this, people have helped to support me, I've really envisioned my dreams, and I'm going to get myself to where I am. So I feel like there is something here that it's almost like when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to envisioning, you know, that life that you want, you do want those things. You do. Who doesn't want to have a nice car and a nice house and, you know, have that job and that money in the bank and blah, blah, blah. Everyone has those, you know, wants. But it's like a version of yourself is holding you back because of past trauma. And it's and I was going to say it's fixable, but I don't like that. I don't like those words. I don't know who that's coming from or who that's for. It's, the thing is though, it's, as much as it is big and it is a massive change and it is a large hurdle to get over, it's a hurdle that you can get over. You literally can. Okay, Before I go, I am going to take out the tea leaf oracle as usual and just see if there's any other advice that needs to come through. Okay, well, we do have here, hidden secrets can harm you. So there's something here about that. I don't know if something happened when you were younger that you haven't told anyone, or something that happened that has made you feel like it was your fault. Whoever this narcissistic energy is, for some people, this person may be arrested. But I heard that it weighs on your word, or it lays on your word. It could be reporting someone, for example. Tell me about this trickster. Okay. Good advice from a wise person. There may be a need for someone here to get advice, to go to therapy, maybe to speak to your friends, speak to people that you feel that are trusted, your support network. Tell me about Empress in reverse. Oy, 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 oy. So we have April, and we also have great personal sorrow coming out in reverse. It feels like someone didn't care about how disempowered you were. Someone didn't care about this. I don't know if their name was April, if your name is April, or if it's just the month April that we should be looking at. I'm going to put both of those down. Can I get one for the Tower, please? What is this change? Okay, interesting. We have love, deep affection and caring in reverse. This is outing someone. This is outing someone in the family for who they are. Or at least, if it's not outing, like everyone knowing that this person was horrible, or they were a bully, or they were this, or they were that, it may also be almost like the epiphany that we have when we realise, oh, 1 second, that I was treated really badly. That's not actually on me. That's on them. Oh, okay, these wounds were not created. I didn't create these wounds. They were pushed on me. Okay, it's changing. We were talking about perception change. There's something here about perception changing. We also have you're on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. Yes, yes, you are. I'm going to leave it there. I think that I should stop. We do also have you should need to defend yourself, but this one here with karma, you will reap what you have sown, is very apt for the ending of this reading. If you liked what you heard and you're new to this channel, I would love for you to hit on the like, the subscribe and on the notification bell so you can see more of my content and when I post. If you are a returning subscriber, soul family, I love you guys. Hot kisses, stay safe, stay awesome, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.